Now, when I say mommy, we all know I'm talking about Big Mother Mouser, right? Bill from the future here, once again. This is another great league, but if you're on a limited time budget, I would recommend starting with round 4. I don't want to spoil what happens, but my deck does some pretty cool stuff in that round. Although honestly, it's a pretty good league as a whole. Enjoy the show. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Edison gave me one instruction. Maximize my opponent's misery. Don't worry, Edison, I've got you. This is another one of the decks that we brewed in the live stream. So if you're interested in that, go to the Lives tab on my channel, and you can see all of the details for why exactly we came up with what we did here. The core of the deck is 16 sphere effects. We have Sphere of Resistance, Thorn of Amethyst, Lodestone Golem, and then Phyrexian Metamorph to copy them. So we have a whopping 16 sphere effects in this deck. And we are stealing the mana base from the Tron deck. There's a couple of workshops that don't quite fit cleanly on screen here because the deck is a little strangely constructed. And we have an entire playset of Candelabra. Now, normally the Tron deck uses this to cast the One Rings and Ugins. We're not interested in the One Ring. No, we are here for Mommy. We are here for the Big Mother Mouser. So this is a 4-mana 2/2, or more accurately, a 0/0 that enters with 2+1/+1 counters on it. When it attacks, you double the number of counters on it. So the first time it attacks, it is a 4/4. The next time, an 8/8. The next time, a 16/16. And when it dies, you create a number of 1/1 colorless robot tokens equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on this creature. We are also rocking a singleton Roadkill Rodney. Part of maximizing our opponent's misery is playing a 61 card deck, and we had to make room for one Roadkill Rodney. The YouTube chat would not have it any other way. We are going to keep some powerful things in the deck. We have the Glaring Fleshraker combo with Kozilek's Command as an angle that our deck is capable of doing with a large amount of mana, but Glaring Fleshraker is also quite strong with all of these sphere effects. Because you play Glaring Fleshraker, you play a sphere, and then you get a mana stored for later in the form of the Eldrazi spawn that you can then use to play your next spell. The most notable thing in the sideboard here is probably a few copies of Eldrazi Confluence as a potential sweeper for faster decks. We are certainly memeing a little bit today, but hopefully we get some cool Big Mother Mouser, henceforth mommy, screenshots. And if you don't have a mommy of your own, please consider getting it from toamagic.com and use promo code ThrabenU to let them know that I sent you. Support me while supporting this company, which has been very, very good to me, both as a content creator and as a customer. These folks are great. Check them out. With that being said, let's battle. All right, this is a pretty average looking opening hand here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan this one. Yes. Greatness at any cost. Any cost. Okay. So how do I want to do this? I think I am ignoring the candle and keeping everything else. It may just be correct to not try to copy Lodestones and try to copy Glaring Fleshraker instead. So I could take 2 on turn 1, play Candle, turn 2, 4 mana, 2 mana floating, 6 mana, Glaring Fleshraker into Glaring Fleshraker. Like, it's a hell of a thing. If I get Thoughtseized and lose Glaring Fleshraker in trying to get greedy and like play 3 Fleshrakers, I maybe just lose. I think I'm going to get rid of the candle with like multiple Ancient Tombs here. We did not have any of our initial lock pieces here, unfortunately. But the dream of triple Lodestone Golem is pretty damn appealing. Basic Island and Tameo. Well, hopefully no counterspell. Pithing Needle is nice backup here. We're shoving directly into Daze, though. No fear. Okay, resolves. Big deal. Because that now means that I can probably copy it next turn. Swords would make me sad. Oh, why would you do that? Urza's Workshop has appeared. So I will play a Glaring Fleshraker. If I play Pithing Needle, I get an immediate damage out of this and store a mana for next turn. Seems fine. Let's just yield to these Glaring Fleshraker triggers, because hopefully there's about to be a lot of them. Ooh! Opponent has feelings. I will pass the turn here. Presumably that means that my opponent has Brainstorm and is going to try to flip a Tamiyo ASAP to gain access to another copy of Swords to Plowshares. Attack first if you have Brainstorm. Alright, fetch. That is a Ponder. Oh no! That's pretty annoying. My Phyrexian Metamorphs are also now significantly worse if this Tamiyo flips. Okay, it did not. That is nice. So I will go 1, 2... I can probably just take the damage and save the spawn, actually. I've gained some life already. I will make a Tamiyo. My Tamiyo is an artifact. Scalding Tarn comes down. Opponent has red mana. Probably an indicator of 4th Aerlingas. And Flow State is happening. Good card is good. Like Murktide Region is now happening. Which I am relatively unhappy about, as that blocks my own Tamiyo. I probably just attack here to draw a card. I'm looking to get something like an Ugin here. Opponent is hesitating. Alright, they are blocking. I think I don't have Metalcraft and probably won't. And I'm not going to get an extra land drop. Let's just do this. Is an Urza's Saga. Sure. So I will lose my Tamiyo. This in no capacity keeps me from dying. I think I'm just going to go Power Plant and rather sadly make a new Tamiyo. This sort of board is where like not having the One Ring is kind of sad. My opponent dismantled all of my early stuff. I'm going to take a hit for 8. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can't. It's fine. We'll just draw Ugin. This is probably the last turn before I concede, though. Like, if I don't do something on this hand, I am in trouble. Tamiyo at 4, Murktide at 8 power, and a Flow State happening. At least it's not a Flow State for 2 cards. Sphere is not great here. Like, I can play a Saga. I think I don't play the Sphere. I think I want to have a colorless thing in hand for if I do spike an Ugin. Yeah, opponent answering double Glaring Fleshraker, Lodestone Golem, Pithing Needle was all pretty rough for us. My deck is a deck that accumulates, and if its early stuff is disrupted without something like the One Ring, it's going to have way more time establishing itself. Yeah, alright. That's bad. I am dead to this. GG. Exile-based removal is also pretty bad for us because we have dies-based stuff. I am interested in extra copies of Ugin here. Disruptive Flute is like fine. I think I'm going down 2 Sphere effects. I think I will go down Sphere of Resistance. Thorn of Amethyst and Lodestone Golem don't tax some of my stuff, and Sphere of Resistance just taxes everything. It also may be that, like, Big Mother Mouser is less than optimal here against white removal. Okay, I've got a couple of different Sphere effects here, and a Planar Nexus to turn on Urza's Mine. This seems totally fine. We can, at some point later on, do some Glaring Fleshraker Kozilek's command crimes. If one of my things gets wastelanded, I think I want it to be Urza's Workshop. Basic Island and Tamiyo. Sure. Another Urza's Workshop. I will throw down a mine and play a Sphere. That is a Force of Negation. On my next turn, I can be thinking about doing a Kozilek's command and removing Tamiyo. Seems like my opponent has a Brainstorm, though, which is unfortunate. This is the second time I think that my opponent has almost Brainstorm before attacking with Tamiyo, but they've got it both times, so good on them. So Tamiyo can plus. Bonus mana is not really doing me much good right now. I think I'm still trying to do this, though. Good enough to get my opponent to respond. It's gotta be Consign. Yeah. Back to basics is worrying this early in the game. That's a basic mountain. It seems like it's gotta be back to basics. Yep. Seems good. So now I will just probably play towards drawing an Ugin. I don't think I am like trying to tap all of these lands to a Kozilek's command to dig and make spawns. Situation is very bad. The game 1 back to basics is like very clearly gunning at the Tron deck in particular, so we are taking splash damage from Tron being maybe the best deck in Legacy right now. Cameo is already at 8. Oh, what the fuck is this? Alright. Enters with 3 -1 counters. Remove a counter from this creature to draw a card. Remove 2 counters from this creature. Tap target creature, put a stun counter on it. I mean, neat. I think kind of no matter what I do, I lose to this Cameo. Ultimate, unfortunately. Like, if we had one more turn where we could exile it while it was still a creature, like, we're in a fine position. Well, maybe not a fine position, but, like, we have outs. But unfortunately, 2 games in a row of back to basics did not allow me to set up. My opponent had a lot of counterspells for my initial sphere stuff. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Alright, my opening hand just doesn't do anything. We're paired against a Yorion deck of some kind. The second hand is missing a mana source to kind of do anything. It's very powerful once it gets going. I think I'm just going to keep it and Pithing Needle Wasteland on turn 1. And hope that this gets better, rather than going to 5. Yorion Volcanic Island. Not the combination that I would have expected. Maybe 5-color beans then. Lodestone Golem has appeared. I have 2 more draws to hit another land. I don't know for sure that Wasteland is in my opponent's deck. My guess is that it's there as a, maybe about a 2 of. There could be a lot going on. But it's looking like 5-color Leyline Binding up the beanstalk, Yorion Dirtle nonsense. Alright. This taxes non-creature spells, so if I hit a land, I can still play a Glaring Fleshraker. 2 mana for Brainstorm on my opponent's turn. Windswept Heath comes down to fetch afterwards, and I'm guessing we're going to see like a Xander's Lounge for black. Nope. Not even a Surveil land. That's weird. So I control 2 artifacts, unfortunately. So I don't have Metalcraft yet. I'm playing a lot of lands, right? Like 24? Yeah. That's unfortunate that we did not hit in 3 draw steps. Not abnormal or anything, but unfortunate. There is a flow state, which is going to give my opponent 2 cards. Okay, cool. So there's Urza's Saga. I'm kind of just into this, honestly. Like, opponent can pay 1 and Force of Will this, or Force of Negation it. I think this game becomes about this Urza's Saga in the short term. Once I have a single construct in play, this Urza's Workshop starts tapping for 3 mana. Alright, no land drop from my opponent, which means that they've got a hand full of gas. I really want to cast Thorn. I just think it is probably correct to make the construct token, though, and take my value out of this permanent. Alright, there is a Prismatic Ending, which is done for 2 different colors, but X is 0 here, and the other color is paid from the tax. So that does successfully get rid of my thing. Which means we're further away from Metalcraft again, unfortunately. Such is life. Alright, Power Plant is cool. Just any land to replace the Urza Saga that I'm losing matters. Candle? Candle for Workshop is a thing. I'm into that. So Power Plant, untap Workshop, tap for 3. I think I'm going to attempt to get this just back down immediately. Opponent has main deck Consign. Just bad fucking day to be Phil, apparently. We've got main deck Consigns, main deck back to basics. I'm getting hated on. Swords as well. My opponent's back down to 4 cards, though, and, like, I still have a healthy grip. This is okay. I hope my construct makes it around the table so that my Urza's Workshop taps for extra mana. That is rather relevant right now. Land drop comes down and fetches immediately. Ooh, for Mystic Sanctuary, I can just get another Consign. No, going for Flow State. Totally reasonable. Cast a Flow State now, pick up the Flow State. Okay, same sort of thing. So opponent makes a land drop and has a Flow State in hand, which they are not casting. So there's 3 mana. I will untap that land. I will have a lot of mana. I'm not going to think about this too hard. I'm going to play Glaring Fleshraker. Then Lodestone? Or just second Glaring Fleshraker immediately? I think Lodestone, and I hope that my opponent answers Lodestone before my next turn. Alright, that's Consign on Lodestone. Opponent let me have Glaring Fleshraker, though. Alright, yield to that. In for 3. Opponent could have replicated Consign and stopped this trigger as well. There's Flow State. I can Kozilek's Command and get rid of a resolved Uro. Alright, looks like my opponent is not just like jamming Uro as quickly as possible here. It is another Up the Beanstalk. Sure. And a Swords to Plowshares. Unfortunate. Mommy has arrived. So we're going to untap this workshop again. Play Glaring Fleshraker. I have 5 mana available afterwards. I think I will do this for a decent number. So I'm going to exile that Uro from the graveyard and do Scry and draw. Get rid of Uro. We'll do X equals 3 here. And that is unfortunately a Force of Will that is going to draw 2 cards. I'll burn my opponent for another one and send in for 3. Opponent at 11. The Beanstalks and the Uros are potentially problematic. Problematic ending? Okay, yep, that's fine. Then opponent can Uro afterwards. There's also a possibility that it was correct to just pay 2 more mana into Prismatic Ending, just overpaying for the X to draw 2 cards off of Up the Beanstalk. Unsure. That's probably a situational thing that depends on what other cards are in my opponent's hand. Alright, Lodestone Golem is here. Without thinking about it, we have to just keep untapping this land. I will have 7 mana this turn, which is probably a 4 plus a 3. I think we're trying to trust in the Mouser here. And then I will Metamorph. I think my Mouser. I don't get to attack this turn. I, in theory, am now... Oh, wow, that's just coming in, huh? That can, I think, hit my face. I could block with the Spawn. I'm not too worried about a Supreme Verdict. A Terminus that exiles everything or sends it back into the deck would be annoying. Yeah. So now I don't have Metalcraft anymore. And accordingly, this Metamorph is now bad. I don't really have a reasonable line here. I'm going to pass the turn. I think this game is over. Like, my opponent has 5 cards, 2 Beanstalks. It's turn 10. And I can produce 3 mana. This has just not worked. Another land comes down. I suspect that I will just die to something like 4th Aerlingas in a turn or 2. Yeah, and X equals 7, so I will take 14 immediately. And my opponent becomes the Monarch. So they have 7 cards to my effective 0. Yeah. Yeah, you've got this one. I have just picked the wrong day to play this deck. GG's. Let's get these Ugins in here, because that's the sort of thing I want to draw end game. I will probably trim 2 of these. Okay. I have a mediocre opening hand that can play a Glaring Fleshraker on turn 2 off an Ancient Tomb and potentially develop into something strong as the game goes on. This is turn 2, expected to get removed. Turn 3, hope that it sticks. My opponent just has so much interaction here with like Swords and Consign and Prismatic Ending. Ponder is fine. Ooh. Do that now? I think do that now, given the number of lands that I have. Alright, it's in play at the very least. It's very annoying how Prismatic Ending lines up against this in particular. But at least that's not white mana. Ooh. Alright. We have some big mana endgame potential here. I do have to play this. if I want to just throw down Glaring Fleshraker immediately, which seems fine. Oh, the cats are making weird noises. I will go check that out once it's my turn. There's a Flooded Strand. I'm just gonna let my opponent know that I need a quick break. Alright, I think Poe was trying to cough up a hairball and failed. Alright. Mommy is here. Burn my opponent for 1. And 2, when that enters, send in with Glaring Fleshraker. Deck is starting to do its thing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana of the 8 that I need for Ugin currently. Savannah comes down. Prismatic Ending on Glaring Fleshraker. Again, doing the same trick we saw before. I think that I'm into this. Here. Get Metalcraft. Urza's Workshop. Taps for 3. Yeah. Then for 5 mana, I play another Big Mother Mouser. And send in for 4. I imagine that we easily take over this game from here. Like, what can my opponent do that answers all of this at the same time? Yeah, they can start taking out sphere effects, but, like, this is just lethal, right? Blue! We mouse. 12 damage. Alright, GG. Let's try to do that again. I think I'm going to trim 2 Phyrexian Metamorphs and keep 2 Sphere of Resistances. The potential of this card is very, very high, but it's only good if I am already sticking a Sphere or a Thorn. I am just, like, not getting enough mana in my opening hands. I just, like, fully die if I don't draw another land. I think I will ship this. That's more like it. Yeah, I like this a lot. I'll probably pitch Kozilek's Command here, and we will try to start this game off with the Disco Ball on turn 1 into Urza's Saga on turn 2. Things could change. Holy shit, just turn 1 sorcery speed brainstorm, huh? That feels wrong. I'm not sure what the rationale there is. And Urza's mine. That's cool. I'm still just going to play the Disco Ball on turn 1 instead of trying to set this up. Disco Ball has resolved. Let's see if my opponent has Prismatic Ending immediately. Tropical Island. Alright, they do. Which is unfortunate for me. Ooh. Play a land. 2 mana remaining. So I could untap an Ancient Tomb. I don't know that I'm into that. I also don't think I'm playing Urza Saga anymore. I think I'm trying to cast spells now. I think I will play a mine and play this out. Then pass the turn there. And then next turn I probably can cast an Ugin. Oh god. Not math. Alright. 4 mana, 5 mana. Down to 3 mana. Up to 5 mana. Down to 4 mana. I'm not thinking this through. I'm going to cast a candle. And we will make some mana, and then I will cast some spells. So 2 mana, 4 mana. Oop. Untap 2 lands. Paying 2. I think I just play Lodestone here. And, like, let that get consigned. Okay, Lodestone resolves. Alright, that's just my turn then. Okay, no immediate play from my opponent. Mystic Sanctuary. Getting Brainstorm back, sure. There's now not an instant in the graveyard for flow state, so I like that. Things like Endurance exist. Urza's Saga. I think I'm just going to send in with Lodestone and see if anything happens. Opponent to 13. I'm just, like, trying to get spells out of my opponent's hand. A Leyline Binding takes out Lodestone Golem. So first candle takes me to 4. Down to 2, second one up to 6. Okay. Now we will just plan on using Candle to repeatedly untap Urza's Saga. And I can also Ugin, cast, trigger, remove Leyline Binding, get Lodestone back. There's an Uro, or a basic forest, and a flow state, which will get 2 cards. Thorn. There's math to be done here that I am simply just not going to do. Force of Negation. Alright. Now it feels like Ugin time. 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. Alright, 2 mana. Untap both of those lands. 2 mana, 4 mana. Untap both of those lands. 6 mana. 7 mana, Ugin, trigger, exile Leyline Binding. This leaves me with enough spawns to still activate Urza's Saga. And I can plus and draw a card here. This is a tax on non-artifact spells. Not exiling anything with Ugin here, but I am doing some Glaring Fleshraker burn. So that brings my opponent to 12. I will hit in for 2. Opponent to 10. All right, there's an Uro. I am like simply not worried about that. So Hedge Maze comes down. Uro is a thing. Activate Urza's Saga. Burn my opponent with Glaring Fleshraker. Yep. All right. Let's activate Urza's Saga. Burn my opponent with Glaring Fleshraker. Oh, fuck. I clicked one too many times. I still had stuff to do. It's fine, but I had better lines. All right. Untap these two. Squad time. All right. Let's go big. 5 enough? Eh. So tap Ancient Tomb one more time. Handle both of those. We are going for 8. I want to squad twice. I have enough mana to do. I will now exile an Uro. No, I wanted to resolve Roadkill, Rodney. All right. We did the thing. Maybe I just should not have been trimming 2 of the Thorn effects. Like maybe my opponent fighting over those in the early game is essential so that I resolve the mid-game stuff here. We got wrecked the first round, but that second round was fine. GG. All right. My opening hand seems pretty good. I can have 4 mana on turn 2. I probably don't need it. I will play in a way that potentially allows me to have 4 mana on turn 2. I don't care if the Planar Nexus gets wastelanded since I have 2 of them, and since I do just have an abundance of lands in this hand. All right. So, this is a mirror match where my opponent's deck is the good version of the deck. And we're out here fucking around. It will be very, very funny if I just bury my opponent in 3 Thorn of Amethyst and they can't play Magic. So Phyrexian Metamorph is a creature. I'm just throwing that out there. So I can double Metamorph next turn. Lodestone Golem is perhaps not the thing here. So 3 mana, 2 life for Phyrexian Metamorph, copying Thorn of Amethyst. I will then play a power plant that taps for 2 mana and pay 2 more life, copy Thorn of Amethyst. Will opponent just have Natural Tron and give me the middle finger? Opponent will have Natural Tron. Will they give me the middle finger? That is a Karn. That's awfully mean of you, opponent. Or Mycosynth Lattice. A 9 mana card. Well, 4 mana for Lodestone Golem. And I'll play an Urza Saga out. Another tower. That's a Kozilek's command. Oof. Karn is tutoring. Opponent could get a creature that avoids the triple Thorn of Amethyst tax. They're getting Liquimetal coating instead. Sure. I thought you had 4. Liquimetal coating would cost 5. Okay, yeah, they figured that out. And Urza's Mine. Sure. I now have Tron. 4 mana for a Lodestone Golem, and I have active Urza's Saga as well. For like a 5/5 token. I have a game 1 Pithing Needle for Karn. Workshop comes down. There's Lattice. So, I will make a friend. Opponent can now plus on Lattice as a way to defend Karn. Oh, there's more. So, my stuff doesn't tap for mana right now, but I still do get to search. I think I'm still getting Pithing Needle. Let's just not deal with the next one of these. Land drop. I'll still attempt to send in at Karn here. All it's going to do is get rid of a spawn. Karn is now off. The 1 ring could potentially be a pretty big problem here. There's a Candelabra. My opponent has so much mana. Just untapping 2 Urza's towers, though. We didn't need to untap the mine or the power plant or the workshop. Coding, sure. Rim Monolith. Trinosphere? 3 spawns remain. Yes, you may turn Lodestone Golem into an artifact. I will, in fact, allow that. Alright. Send at Karn. Opponent loses 2 spawns. I will pass the turn. How good was your draw step? 17 mana floating. Untapping 5 lands. Kozilek's Command is such a devastating top deck. And it's like very clear that it was the top deck because my opponent vomited out a bunch of stuff that didn't do anything and then passed the turn. Oh, there's also something I didn't mention here. In case you're not sure why this is an 11/11, everything is an artifact, right? So like my lands are also contributing to the size of this token. Oh, Manifold Key. Are we going to untap the candle first? So they had to pay the whole, like, there's a whole Trinisphere Thorn of Amethyst situation going on here for like how costs are actually calculated for spells. So additions and reductions happen before settings. So Thorn applies first, and then Trinisphere looks and sees how expensive something is, which is why Trinisphere isn't in this deck. Trinisphere will often not do anything if there's multiple Thorn effects in play already. All right, you have made 34 mana and done nothing with it. Good job. So I now get to kill Karn. Yeah. An opponent will just let it die and keep the spawn. So now, how do I best use this card? Do I play Ancient Tomb first? Probably. Let's go spawns and scry. All right, this is fine. Lands can go away. I think that can go away. I think I will keep 4 threats in a row on top. So I am fine doing 2 life for a Phyrexian Metamorph. I think I'm just going to copy a construct token here and call that good. And then I have Glaring Fleshraker Kozilek's Command as burn. We won. My opponent sure made 30 mana and did nothing with it. I'm very, very happy about that. GG! Okay, now what? My opponent simply goes over this stuff eventually. So I probably want Disruptor Flute for 1 ring and Karn. Like, we might just be morphing into a mid-range deck here, where I board out all of these and go bam, bam. This one important? Trample kind of seems like it matters. These are coming in. Let's sort this. So I have Disruptor Flute for 1 ring and Karn. I'm thinking about Mindbreak Trap. Also, I'm a 61 card deck. I think I'm going to play the Mindbreak Traps. I think I'm going to go like bam, bam, 2 Mindbreak Trap. I don't know. Metamorph is a copy of the 1 ring, though. Like, that is the thing. All right. Sorry, Rodney. We already got your screenshot. You're good, bud. Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes, this is turn to Big Mother Mouser, which is incredibly aggressive. Attack for 4, attack for 8, you are dead. Now, opponent is on the play here, so like they get to 4 mana first. Karn is kind of a jerk. The Ancient Tomb starts are scary. Resolves. Thorn of Amethyst. Thorn of Amethyst has been named. Ooh, that is interesting. Tower pass turn. Planar Nexus. Opponent has 3 mana. Your Monolith can catapult them to 4, though. That is Karn. Fascinating play. Now I'm going to Disruptor Flute Karn, and my opponent gets 0 cards out of their Karn. That is great for me. I also could kill Disruptor Flute if I wanted to. Like, I can go up to 4 mana, Eldrazi Confluence, kill that, make 2 spawns, use the 2 spawns to cast Disruptor Flute. But, like, this card does nothing other than be an artifact for Metalcraft count. So I don't know that that is actually necessary. Wish I had, like, a Lotus Petal to, like, Glaring Fleshraker and do something else. Alright, there's my flute. Karn is off, and my next turn will probably be pretty cool. I would like another big mana land, though. Manifold Key. I mean, seems good. It is the 1 ring. So that is potentially a problem. Disruptor Flute is fine. Sphere. Disruptor Flute on Disruptor Flute is, like, not crazy. To just keep the 1 ring from being shut off. Yeah, I like that play a lot. Beautiful. So I Urza's Tower, play a Glaring Fleshraker, and then I think I just go 4 mana immediately and play Big Mother Mouser. Unfortunately, these aren't burning my opponent immediately. Opponent will take 1 from their ring, and then I have a lot of potential. So I have 6 onboard damage and maybe some crimes that I can do with Eldrazi Confluence. I could attack and kill Karn, And then Eldrazi Confluence, blink my Disruptor Flute, and use it to shut off the One Ring. We'll see where we end up. I also have Urza's Saga for Pithing Needle as a multi-turn line that can mess with the One Ring. Two of opponent's lands being Ancient Tomb is kind of cool for me. There's a new Planar Nexus. That is a Dismember on Glaring Fleshraker. Seems good. Opponent is at 9, taking 3 from the One Ring as of right now. I'm thinking about what I am doing with this Eldrazi Confluence. I think I'm always playing this land. I think I'm always attacking base for 4. And then I am thinking about make 2 1/1s and blink Disruptor Flute, putting it on the One Ring so that my opponent can't draw 4 cards. The Ancient Tombs are already off. I'd also just hold this. Also put it on Manifold Key. My opponent has 2 mana. Kind of like that. I don't know. Like, it's unlocking Karn, which is dangerous, because my opponent could get a land that draws them a bunch. I'm going to hold up Eldrazi Confluence. Opponent to 2. One Ring draws. Yeah, Tower comes down. Now, this could be the point where I flicker the Flute and shut off the One Ring so that my opponent can't draw. I'm going to do that. So do that on Disruptor Flute and do that better. It's kind of weird if I'm going to do this to not do it immediately on my own turn and to like let my opponent draw more cards. But this wastes one of their mana, which is, I think, potentially valuable. It's just like very awkward if there's already a One Ring in hand at this stage. All right, we won. That did not feel good. That did not feel graceful. But we are 2-1 now with our Maximum Misery Stax deck. Whew. We are fighting the good fight here. What if we just like naturally play a turn 3 Ugin in the next league? In the next round, huh? What about it? GG. All right. My opening hand is kind of mediocre here. It doesn't quite do anything well. It's reasonable Magic the Gathering cards. I would like unreasonable Magic the Gathering cards, though. This I will certainly keep. Get rid of Kozilek's Command, I think. And we are just legitimately on a beatdown plan here. Opponent is staying a while and presumably listening. Let's Pithing Needle. Wasteland. Polluted Delta Gamer. Volcanic Island. And DRC. Sure. Ooh. Are we now just an Urza's Saga Thorn of Amethyst gamer? I know it can't be wastelanded. Yeah. I could do this. Wow, this turn got quite difficult. Because I can also choose to pay 2 life to play around days. Which I don't know that I want to do. I think I want to activate Ancient Tomb as few times as possible in the Lightning Bolt matchup. I fully do not expect this Thorn of Amethyst to resolve. Well, shit. All right. This was not quite like, hey, what if we just turn 3 Ugin? But resolving a Thorn of Amethyst versus the Corey Steelcutter deck is kind of sick. Did I use 2 mana to ponder? Hell yeah. That means that if I pivot and cast a spell on my turn, I know that it resolves. I'd really just like to draw a land off the top of my library that doesn't cause me damage. Force of Negation goes to graveyard. It becomes a lot harder to use that in the face of Thorn of Amethyst, so that makes sense. Metamorph's a weird draw. I think I'm behind on board, so I just activate Urza's Saga here. And then I hope to get a little bit more mana and do crimes. I have a post-sideboard Shadow Spear, unfortunately. There's a Corey Steelcutter, 3 card types in graveyard, a Wasteland to graveyard. This doesn't get to attack. I will do some self-damage here. A new Urza's Saga. All right. I mean, this is the plan. These are now outside of range of Lightning Bolt, hopefully forever. I'm going to do Retrofitter Foundry here. I wish I had a Haste Enabler, but I simply do not. There's a new Urza's Saga. I will do 2 mana to make another friend. And we're in for 6, which is still good. While we were deck building on the stream, we wanted to meme a little bit because Retrofitter Foundry is kind of silly if you can repeatedly like make big mana with things like Candelabra. That is a 2 mana Ponder. Days to graveyard. Yeah, I don't know that I'm casting another spell in this entire game. Opponent shuffles, and if they don't have a 4th land, they can't cast a 2nd spell for Corey Steelcutter. Alright, they do. Let's see what they can do with it, though. DRC isn't even a 3/3 yet. Monk time? That's a Delver of Secrets to graveyard. I will get hit for 3. Now, that attack is obligatory. That has to happen. If opponent wanted to chump block, they could have done some of this stuff post-combat. They still have a monk to chump block, so they're not dead. Big Mother Mouser has arrived. I can hit my opponent for 8 this turn. Yeah. I'm going to leave the servo token back just in case I need to chump block a monk. I will make this now. That is just a thing that I want to do. Opponent goes to 3. And I have the ability to turn the servo into a Thopter if I need to. In case some sort of weird, like, hasty Murktide Regent style thing happens. This game is already over if I have some sort of Lava Spur Boots or Skateboard in my deck. Alright, we do win this game, though. GG. It's significantly harder when we are on the draw and our opponent knows what sort of shit I am up to. Shadow Spear. Snap in. Eldrazi Confluence as a removal spell. Snap in. We'll think about additional copies of Ugin. I think Retrofitter Foundry is out. Or Shadow Spear. I think Rodney is probably out. The Metamorphs cost me life here, which is super relevant. I think I just want to turn those into the Eldrazi Confluences and play Disruptor Flute for Wasteland. I am thinking about whether or not I want more Ugin or more Disruptor Flute or anything. Ugin is kind of how I beat Murktide Regent. It may just be that I kind of give up on Big Mother Mouser here on the draw. Like, it does die to Lightning Bolt even if my opponent gives me some 1/1s. And just work towards more consistently playing my endgame. Oh, I'm a 61 card special. That's right. 1 Big Mother Mouser then. Lodestone Golem also awkwardly dies to Lightning Bolt, but, you know. Medium looking opening hand here. I think I just want to keep something that has more mana than this, though. All right. We're going to lose this game. If my opponent plays a turn 1 threat, I am absolutely screwed. If they just ponder or whatever, like, we can talk. I'm going to take so much self-damage from these Ancient Tombs. All right. I'm going to lead on Thorn because it doesn't tax Lodestone Golem. I fully expect this is not going to resolve, though. All right. I said it 2 games in a row, and it stuck. Hot damn. It feels like if you know what sort of stuff I am doing, you just keep something that can Lightning Bolt. Oh, just 3 creatures. Apparently wrong fucking call, huh? So, greatness at any cost. Any cost is 4 life. This spell resolves. So now the hope is that my opponent does not have more land. And that Delver also doesn't blind flip. Delver blind flipped. Unsign is a thing. Alright, so I am taking a hit here. I need to get up to Ugin mana. Ugin costs 8. I think I need to hold this back so these can't attack. This is incredibly inconvenient. Blind flip is rough. That is not what I am looking for. Oh fuck, Ugin costs 9. It is double taxed. Alright, I don't know what I'm looking to do here, but I think I'm just dead to just turn 1 blind flip Delver. The double Ancient Tomb draw just lined up very, very poorly. I knew from the keep that we were probably dead. I am down to 4. Hello? I mean, yeah? So this is 7. It will be dead to a Lightning Bolt at any point in this game, right? I will exile this. My opponent could consign this trigger? Oh no, they can't consign. Hot damn. Gain 3 life. Draw a card. Am I gonna win? Feels kind of like I'm gonna win. That's weird. I think that was 3 draws towards Natural Tron in a row, which is wild. I'm not a prophet, apparently. We are not going to lose this game. I guess I could still lose to Lightning Bolt on Lodestone Golem, Surveil 2 non-instant or land card types into graveyard. Take 6. Yeah, I could still lose here. All right, let's see if it happens. It is the Lightning Bolt. All right, it is going at my face instead. So opponent needs both of these to hit. That is a miss, so I think I'm good. Yeah, so but they needed to hit with both of those. Now I am alive with an Ugin and more life. Presumably, I just get rid of one of these. I'm going to go spawns and exile a creature. So this is X equals 3. Hold on, I haven't played a land. Yeah, I want to do this for X equals 4, because then I can Lodestone Golem afterwards. All right. X equals 4. Then I take out the other DRC with the Ugin cast trigger. Then I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That Ugin cast trigger is not doing anything. I guess I could have drawn cards then. I don't think it matters anymore with 3 resolved Thorn effects and an active Ugin. Like, I can't die to double Lightning Bolt. I could die to Price of Progress. That would cost 5 mana. Yeah. I was a doubter. I didn't believe in the deck. Didn't believe in the maximum suffering that I was capable of. We won. I am now positive in this league no matter what happens in the final round. All right. GG's. This is going way better than expected. Opponent says, oh no, what evil am I gonna face? You'll find out. Okay, opening hand looks like a keep. I have 2 copies of Planar Nexus. Sorry, 2 copies of Urza's Tower, so I can lead on 1 with Candle. And then turn to Planar Nexus. Bam. And bam. You know, I was worried in the first half of the league that we were going to just get bodied. We clutched it through in the second half, though. My god. All right, I'm thinking about whether or not I am playing Roadkill Rodney for 2 here alongside Big Mother Mouser. I think I'm not. I think I'm going to go Nexus, untap the Urza's Tower. I could just squat up Rodney immediately. Squat up Rodney around days. Yeah, let's do it. Rodney has no screen time yet. That card gets better later on, but like, if something is going to eat a Force of Will, I'm totally happy with it being Roadkill Rodney and not Big Mother Mouser. It's just awkward if this is an Orcish Bowmaster's deck and it just gets to like ping this or trade incredibly favorably with it in combat. Okay, played around days, got a Force of Will out of my opponent's hand. I am overall very, very happy with this. And hopefully we just dodge Wasteland. I imagine that if I keep this much mana, I will win. Opponent does keep a card on top though. There is a Brainstorm. That's not Wasteland. Love this for me. Untap both of those. Big mana. Do this. Spawns Scry. Do it while Bowmasters is not a thing that I need to think about. Show me another force. They are brainstorming. Resolve? Resolves. The world is my oyster here. I don't know what I am playing against yet. I will have 9 total mana. I really like the idea of Thorn of Amethyst or Lodestone Golem right now. I think I am just going to send all of the land to the bottom here. Send Sphere of Resistance to the bottom. Mouser to bottom. Keep this on top. So let's Lodestone Golem. It has resolved. Now I will go 1, 2, 3. I think I just pay the life here and do another Lodestone Golem. And if this is something like Doomsday, my opponent is probably just shit out of luck in terms of reasonably doing anything. Grixis. Fatal Push? Fatal Push is fine. So make a bunch of mana. Untap some lands. After I untap the lands, I'll play another Thorn effect. Play out the Big Mother Mouser. I maybe should have left another Big Mother Mouser on top. It's very hard to know what to do in that spot before I know what my opponent is doing. Like, now I am expecting Grixis control here. And like, knowing that more copies of Big Mother Mouser is very, very, very strong. All right. GG. So assuming that I am playing against control, more Ugin is probably a good thing. And assuming that my opponent is trying to 1-for-1 me, taking some Phyrexian Metamorphs out of my deck is probably fine. I can think about like some Disruptor Flutes in Metamorph spots or some Eldrazi Confluences just as a random catch-all. This deck is way more competitive than I was expecting. Turns out that Tron is so busted that even if you take out a bunch of the good cards like the One Ring, you can still forge something reasonable out of it. All right, we've got mana. Accordingly, I will keep this. We get to Ugin pretty quickly. Don't do it! No! Bad fill noises. I can potentially set up some, like, Candelabra, Urza Saga, untap, Poop Construct everywhere type lines. So this is probably still going to be okay. I'm not even sure if I play Candelabra on turn 1. I might play it on turn 2, where I can get on-cast damage from Glaring Fleshraker. There is something to be said about just trying to resolve it immediately, though. Yeah, I'm just gonna play it. Opponent Brainstorms. So if they are a flow state deck, Thoughtseize and Brainstorm are both there. Instant and Sorcery. Badlands. There is another Thoughtseize. Assuming my opponent has some amount of removal, I probably lose Kozilek's Command here. Planar Nexus. Sure. Alright, how does this math work for Urza Saga? I play Saga, and then I play Planar Nexus. And I have 3 mana, 4 mana. Yeah, I can play Urza Saga this turn and double activate it next turn if I don't get Wastelanded. That seems fine then. It's a very good Wasteland, though. Flow state is a thing over there. Fuck. I'm not sure if that's the one you Wasteland, like, legitimately. For reasons like that. So, there's Nexus. There's Tower. I will untap the Tower. And I will jam a Lodestone Golem. Make my opponent's life a little more annoying. Ooh, another Wasteland. I don't remember what my opponent saw from Thoughtseize. Fatal Push is exactly what my opponent needs there. Alright. So, 3 mana, Glaring Fleshraker, and I can get 1 mana out of it immediately, or 1 token out of it immediately. But I am looking to top deck, you know, an Ugin or a Thorn effect or a Mouser. I need a little something here. Yeah, the Shoulder's Edict gets around Eldrazi spawn token, unfortunately. Ooh! I mean, that's big mana, right? So, untap both of these, and we'll do that twice. When that is all said and done, I have 12 mana. Let's do Spawn and Scry, and I'll play around Daze just in case. That's an X equals 10 Kozilek's Command. Hot damn. Let's send all the lands to the bottom. Well, I could think about Urza Saga. Urza Saga is kind of cool right now. But most of the rest of this stuff can just go to bottom without super thinking about it. That goes away. Then I think I alternate these. I don't know, maybe stacking up 2 golems first is good. Yeah, alright. Top, 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 top. Draw a Lodestone Golem immediately. And resolve it. Alright, very nice. Back for 0. Opponent remains at 15. Badlands comes down. Whatever it is isn't castable. So let's go 3 and 4 for a Lodestone Golem. Orcish Bowmasters, absolutely. I was going to play around that anyway. Yeah, so opponent pings this, so I can't attack with it this turn. But I resolve Lodestone Golem, so that's fine. And then I have back-to-back Urza Sagas coming. Your Tameo is okay. Fully not worried about that with 2 resolved Lodestone Golems in play. Base. Base. How many of these are getting chumped? Opponent, like, probably doesn't know that I don't have the One Ring, and probably is overvaluing Bowmasters accordingly. I don't know what my opponent is supposed to do to win from here. Like, the Tameo Clue stuff is just not viable with their mana, as pinched as it currently is. Ooh, Kaito gets around that tax. That's fascinating. Yeah, I'll take a little damage there. What would you like to do with Kaito? Wow, not stunning. Fatal Push, not good enough. Yeah, there's the GG. Opponent says, I'm happy to see you perform nonetheless. Yeah. This was awesome. That's a 4-1 with stacks, baby. Incredible. GG's. I didn't expect it, but here we are. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Certainly worse than the real version of Tron, but pretty darn good for what it is. If I was trying to make this more competitive and take some of the memes out, Retrofitter Foundry should just be Skateboard, unquestionably. Roadkill Rodney shouldn't be in the deck. And then I'd like to turn Phyrexian Metamorph into another standalone threat. Just some reasonably costed artifact, creature, or win condition. It may just be that playing 4 Ugin is just correct, despite the fact that it has negative synergy with the Spheres and Thorns and Lodestones, because if that doesn't work, it is just a very good thing to do. Playing more actual factual creatures means that one removal spell on a Glaring Fleshraker or Big Mother Mouser. Let me rephrase that. The more creatures you play, the more your opponent has to leave in removal. The removal gets taxed by the Spheres and Amethysts and Lodestone Golems and whatnot. And if you make it so that some of these creatures are more likely to stick because you are just playing more stuff, it seems reasonable. Like, you could play 4 Patchwork Automaton. That card is like way better when you are vomiting artifacts. So you probably just want, I'm going to say Wormcoil Engine. I don't mean literal Wormcoil Engine, but you probably want some reasonably chunky artifact, creature, or win condition here. You could just play Karn. Karn is kind of just a good thing to do when you have a gajillion D mana. And you could play Singleton One Ring in the Wishboard if you needed that sort of thing. But the idea of maxing out on 16 Thorn effects somehow resulted in a 4-1 record. Turns out 4 Candelabra of Thanos enables some silly stuff. And I don't even think I played this league perfectly. Like, I absolutely did not count out mana on some of the, like, tricky Candelabra optimization turns. Hard to do that stuff while you're narrating all of your plays. So, if you're looking to have a good time, this is a great deck to play. If you want to win a tournament, just register regular Tron. All right, that was a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. This is going to release on a Friday, so you know what? Bonus, have a good weekend too. See ya!